Hey guys, it's Landon Blake from Redefined Horizons, and this is the second video in the little set of videos we're doing that show how I prep my field crews for a field survey. And if you caught the first video in this set, you'll see we're creating our Topo survey plan exhibit. And in the last video, we cropped our Google Maps image and dropped it in here with the that little square shape to screen it here, so we can see we've got that in. And so now that that's done, in this video we want to go ahead and add our mapping limits and show the crew where we think we want our primary control. So we'll go ahead and do that in this video. Okay, so you remember I've got this little shape down here that I can use for my mapping limits. So what I'm going to do now is go into my layers, and because we have this properly layered, I'm going to go ahead and lock my image background now. I don't want that moving, and I'm going to unlock the mapping limits layer. So now I can grab this shape here that was used for the mapping limits on my last project, and I'm just going to zoom in here. Alright, and I actually don't like this color. It doesn't show up real good on this background, so we're going to change that color. Alright guys, so I've got a color we're going to try here to make this stand out a little more, and just to show you how I did that, I just opened up Adobe color wheel, and this is just an online tool from Adobe. It's really slick, and I just punched in that existing color and got some of the corresponding colors here on the triad color rule. And so I'm going to try that deep red there. So we're just going to enter those red, green, blue values over here in the fill and stroke dialog. Alright, that stands out a little better, so I like that. So we'll go ahead and use that color. Alright, now what I want to do is I want to take that exhibit, that sketch from the client, and which gives me a rough idea of the mapping limits, and we want to try and trace over that here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate the node tool, and I'm just going to start pulling these nodes over, okay, where I need them. So we're just going to outline the shape. And you know what? Usually when I'm doing this, I don't want to snap to the grid. So I'm going to just come over here and turn off my grid snap. And then we don't have to worry about that. Alright, so we're just pulling this over. Oh, let's see here. Now as I'm doing this here, I can see I'm going to have way too many nodes. So I'm going to come over here on this menu bar here, this context sensitive. It's actually not a menu bar, it's a toolbar. When you activate the node tool, you get this context sensitive menu here. And I'm just going to hit this button right here to delete nodes. And you can see as I do that, I'm getting rid of these extra nodes that I don't need. So I'm just going to keep doing that. And it's creating some curves. Don't worry about that. I'll fix that in a minute. Okay, so when I get rid of the curves, then I get these handles here. We just pull these on top of the diamonds, and that'll straighten out that curve. Actually, to do that right, I'm going to turn my snaps back on. So we're going to just zoom in here to that cusp, make that node tool active again, and I'm going to snap that node to a grid intersection, so then I can do the same thing with these, and that's just going to, with these handles here, spline handles, and that's just going to completely square this up. Okay, and then we got to come over here to this other spot and do the same thing. So snap that node to a grid intersection, and then grab these spline handles, and we're just going to pull those in to that same grid intersection, and that'll square that up. Okay, once that's done, got rid of those curves now. We don't have as many nodes, so we can go back to the node editor, and we'll just pull this up where we need it. Okay. So those are going to be the mapping limits based on the sketch I got from the client. Okay, so what I want to do now is we're going to go ahead and create the label for that. So I'm going to go into my layers, and we're going to unlock the shape layers. Sorry, shape arrows layer. And then I'll grab this arrow shaft or leader line for the mapping limits. And we're just going to pull this over. I'm going to line it up over here. And we're going to just drag it over to an intersection there. Now, I know this is not the right color, so we'll open our fill and stroke dialog, and we're going to set that to the right color. Okay, so I've got the same color there with just a little bit of transparency, which makes it easy to see if the leader lines run over. I try not to do that, but sometimes that happens. And then we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to fix this color. And you can see I added some stroke to my number 9 there. That's because that was a group. That's not what I wanted. So I'm going to undo that and one more. So I'm going to ungroup that and then just select the shape, and we'll fix that color. So now that I don't have that text selected, I'm not getting that stroke around the number 9. Okay, and then I'm just going to group that again, and we'll pull that up. Okay, and I don't want that to be number 9. So I'm going to ungroup it again, and we're just going to grab that text there, that number 9, and we're going to turn that into a number 1. And we'll grab both of those, select them both, and we'll center them with the align and distribute dialog. Okay. All right. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, so I've got my mapping limits there. I'm going to go ahead and save that. The other thing I'd like to do here is just drop in a couple road labels. We have them on the Google Maps screenshot, but they're a little hard to read. So I'm going to come back into layers, my layers dialog. We'll lock that shape arrows layer for now, and we are going to unlock text street names. Oop, sorry about that. It's not doing what I want. And then we can grab that text now. We'll drop this over. Oh, excuse me. All right, and we'll edit this label. This is Water Street. And we'll rotate that label so it lines up a little better with the street. I'm just going to scoot it over. Okay, we're going to just copy that label, drag it down here. We'll spin that around. And let's see, that is California Pacific Road. Okay. All right, so we got a couple street labels in there. I'm going to give them one more, I think. We'll pull this up here. We'll let them know what this other street is since it bounds our site. And that's Vaca Station Road. So we'll type that in here. Yeah, and we'll just maneuver that a little bit. Oop. Sometimes when you're trying to place labels like that, you got to turn off your grid snap. Okay. All right, so we got our mapping limit boundary in here. We've got our little little leader set up here to indicate that that's the mapping limits, and we dropped in some street labels. So I'm going to go ahead and save that, and we're at about 10 minutes. So I'm going to stop this next video, or stop this video, excuse me. In the next video, we'll come in and we'll edit this text here. This has the instructions for the field crew, and we'll add some control points and do a couple other little things with the exhibit in the next video. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it.